One gardening rule I love to break is spacing. I'll look at the tag and see what it says and then just do what I want to do.
We are in Georgia with a landscape that needs a little bit of love.
We brought in 6 garden designers and tons of First Editions plants to help make these garden dreams become a reality. Welcome back to Getting Dirty with First Editions. For Jay's section of the landscape, she'll be working on the area that surrounds the large tree directly in front of the cabin. This portion will be seen from all sides and get a lot of shade throughout the day, which means that Jay will have to strategically plant shrubs that don't block sightlines and can handle less sun. She will also need to work around the existing system of tree roots to make sure that the shrubs planted have a suitable environment to thrive. Let's go talk to Jay.
I'm Jay. I was born and raised in South Carolina, and I spent my weekends outside playing, riding my bike, catching fireflies and roly-polies, and I just love to play outside, and I still do. So now I garden, still in South Carolina, but in a different location in South Carolina. So I'm just looking at this spot, and the first thing that comes to mind is this big, beautiful tree, which is a awesome gathering spot. And then I'm thinking about, okay, shady spot. So what's going to work here? It's centralized. So as you come into the space, you can see everything. So whatever's here is going to be seen by everybody who shows up here. But I do want to create some type of cozy situation. So I want to have a place where people can come and just sit by the water, enjoy the ducks coming through. The other thing is allowing it to kind of mimic the fact that we have a body of water. We have grasses growing already. So I'd like to repeat some of that grassy look over here. So that's my first thought as to how to set up this space. As far as where could be a meeting spot, a seating spot. So I'm thinking maybe right here would be a good view of the water, of those coming in, of the beautiful gardens that surround this area. So I'm trying to focus on where the seating's going to be and then decide how to do the planting. I started gardening at first because I wanted some fresh tomatoes, but it's evolved. So my personal design aesthetic is to allow nature to kind of run its course. So I don't do a whole lot of mulching because I like to see things reseed and spread. So that would be my style.
So when you first got this space,
Yeah.
what did you say?
There's a tree and it's big. So that was my first thought was, how do I garden around this tree? Because I'm not used to gardening in the shade. So that was my first concern was, what do I do about this big tree?
When you started looking at plants for the space,
Mm-hmm.
where do you start?
I started with hostas because I knew they could work with the tree and give a lot of color, and they would be very happy in a shady spot. So I started there. And then from there, I thought about, okay, I need that brightness. So let me go to the Elysium to bring that brightness and just kind of shine in the background. And then I worked my way out from this space.
How did you think about that color story throughout where you've got different light conditions?
Mm-hmm. So I started thinking about quadrants. So if I put the shade-loving Elysium in the back, the banana peel, I wanted to make sure I had something to match it in another quadrant. So I used the spirea. I chose a spirea that would have a yellow foliage and added that to the space and made sure to continue that in each quadrant that I planted in.
When you come in, you start designing, things change. Mm-hmm. So how did you adapt once you were playing in the space with the plants?
Yeah, so one of the biggest changes I made was with roses. As I watched the space and I watched the sun move, I really wanted the roses, but I said the roses would be happier if they got more sun. So what I decided was to add in oak leaf hydrangeas. The jet stream oak leaf hydrangea is probably one of my favorites because it's beautiful in the spring, summer, fall, winter, the color, especially that fall color, is amazing. So having the yellow and the chartreuse with the red that oak leaf hydrangea is going to give in fall is just superb.
How else did you incorporate seasonality into this garden?
Right. So the spring sizzle is a beautiful hydrangea that can be used and give interest all year long. So once those blooms have done their job, in the fall and the winter, leave them, and they're going to continue to give interest, especially against maybe an ornamental grass or the loropetalum that's going to still work hard all season long. That spring sizzle is going to shine all season long as well.
One of my favorite things about creating a garden is being in it.
Yeah.
So what did you do to give people that opportunity to live in this beauty that you created?
One of the things as I walked to this garden, one of my first impressions was because of the tree, this would be a beautiful gathering spot. So what could I do to make it even more appealing? So definitely seating, because we want to be able to sit in that space and enjoy that space and enjoy the breeze that comes through. This big, beautiful tree deserves a space under it for people to gather and just take in time and enjoy the space around it. Once I decided that I was going to put the benches on either side of the tree, I had to figure out a way for them to get out of that space and move on to another garden. So I decided to kind of merge the two paths to lead outward. Instead of, at first I wanted to do two paths out, but I decided if we're going to gather, we can gather in and we can exit together. So I added a space in the front to allow both pathways to lead in one direction out of the bed.
Jay went into this design knowing she wanted to bring more color in to offset the green of the tree. She started with hostas, a shade-loving perennial, as the anchor of her space. Then she began thinking of the space in quadrants and make sure to plant hostas with contrasting shrubs like banana peel small anise tree and little spark spirea in each area. Jay also made sure her design had year-round interest, using shrubs like vintage jade distilium and spring sizzle panicle hydrangea to balance the seasonal color. She also planted Jetstream oak leaf hydrangea, moving away from her original plan of using roses. Jetstream's white blooms in the summer and deep red foliage in the fall will add that seasonal interest throughout the design. Finally, Jay knew her garden would serve as a gathering space for visitors and designed it with a walking path and benches in mind. With a pond and Yuliya's portion of the garden acting as the focal point, Jay seamlessly wove a central meeting point to her design, giving guests a relaxing space to take a moment to breathe and take in the view.
It's been a wonderful time. I think I'm done here. Her little ideas to it to make it shine.
Do you want to do that again?
I didn't even hear that car.
Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.